Namaskar. My name is Harteej Singh, and I have been an adjunct professor at various US universities, namely Rutgers University in New Jersey, New York Polytechnic on Broad Street, Wall Street, New York, Fairleigh Dickinson University in New Jersey, and finally, New Jersey Institute of Technology. I used to teach entrepreneurship and then technology, and finally, I co produced a course called Cloud Master, which we taught in New Jersey Institute of Technology. I did this as an adjunct faculty. I was not a full time professor, I was a full time entrepreneur, but I was in the United States. And my first exposure to the US was when I went to do a master's and MBA at MIT's Sloan School of Management. At the same time, I'd been admitted to IIM Ahmedabad, so I dropped out after a semester, transferred to MIT, and have the benefit of a cross-sectional analysis of both programs, which we can review as we go along. Now, I'm in Bangalore, even though I'm a US citizen, because I love the weather, and having retired, I figured it's time to relax and give back to society. So I don't want you to smash anything, buy anything, do anything. Just listen, understand, and engage. I believe that school children in India, focusing on school children from the 8th grade onwards, maybe even the 7th, we need to carve out a plan of attack, a roadmap for you to be able to get into the best US universities and excel at the university, and thereon move on to land amazing jobs and have stellar careers. Because as you know, President Trump of the US, has placed great emphasis on highly educated people who have graduated from the top US universities, for which he fully expects the best employers to fund the $100,000 fee that it takes to get you an H-1B visa, which leads rapidly to a green card. So I believe that there is a path, an efficient method by which you get admission to the best universities in America, B, your credentials are so strong that there are many scholarship opportunities that come your way, third, that you excel while in that program, and D, it naturally leads into the arms of a stellar career. So I thought I'll create a podcast. And this podcast, if I were to put a label on it, it would be School to College. And by college, I don't mean Indian colleges, I mean US universities. If you ask me about Australia, Canada, Germany, I don't have any experience. So, but US universities, I have both lived the experience as well as engaged from the faculty perspective. I know universities, I know how they think. For MIT, I am a certified interviewer. So if you have applied to MIT, chances are that I would be one of the people who would be invited to reach out to you, to interview you, and send in our report, which becomes part of your admissions process. So, all this to say that my understanding of US universities is 10x more than what I have of any other international universities. So, I will focus on US universities. Moreover, graduating from a top US university gets you past the green card hurdle. Graduating from a top university in another country, I'm not certain that counts in Trump's math, because he believes that they have invested so much in US universities and they produce amazing talent, and he doesn't want to let that talent go back to their country of origin, because he says, well, then they'll go back there and form amazing companies and then come back to compete with us. So why not hold them back in the United States so that they can build companies here, provide employment here, and we have them inside our tent rather than outside. So my audience, I expect to be students who are now in the 7th grade in schools in India. It doesn't matter if you are not in English medium, because I will cover, along with the various other things that I will cover, how to become very proficient in English, because you have to have it. And if your parents could not afford an English education, it does not mean that you should be denied. And we will make a compelling case and then equip you with the tools. And I will tell you the various, I will conduct workshops and impart actual skills. And the other category of people that I hope to reach out to is parents of these children who are looking at their child with great apprehension and hope. So they are now, unfortunately, subject to inputs that they get from your school and their peers, which means that they land up with professionals who are trying to make money and who are therefore going to take every circumstance and never say no and say, just give me your money, ho jayega, kar denge, dekh lenge, all that. So I believe I want to restore truth to that equation simply because I have no skin in the game. And therefore, this will be a podcast that I intend to do with some frequency. And my most recent impetus was this article, this podcast by Sri Iyer. Well, I really am a fan of his, on a concept called Donkey Trail, Tunki, which is children in the north, especially Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, who are spending their parents' life earnings in order to pay these networks of hawala operators and coyotes as they take you across the jungle, across the desert, across the border in the US. All of that adds up to so much money, and you land up and you say, well, this is not what I was told. So I've seen these horror stories of children landing up and having to live 20 kilometers away from campus from a third-class program that's not worth the paper it's on, and then have to work in dismal conditions, working night shifts, working a job full-time with a working program full-time, and then the parents say, beta वापस आ जा, जैसे मैं कैसे आऊँ, अब फंस गए सारे. I intend to help those parents who reach out to me via chat to address those issues. So please feel free to ask your questions, and I'm happy to make a podcast that addresses those questions. And if you like a particular question or you think it applies to you, upvote that question so that I can turn my attention to the issues that matter to more of you than less. But that doesn't mean that some outlier doesn't merit support and analysis. And what I intend to do is keep labeling these videos so that you can look up particular topics, build a thread around it, so that you don't have to wade through endless videos in a sequence. I will label them so that they'll have the index like a library, so that you can actually find stuff. My wife is she with me. We put our two children through college in the United States. They went through public school in the US and went on to universities. So my son went on to Tufts University for his undergrad, and he did his international relations, economics, and a minor in political science from Tufts University. And 2 years after, a gap of 2 years during which he worked, he went back to do his master's in public policy in Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. And then he went and worked in the halls of Congress. And after 5 years of experience, he has now gone back to do a JD, which is a PhD in law from UCLA, University of California at Los Angeles. He's studying there now. My daughter went to Carnegie Mellon University, and she did her undergrad in chemistry, but then decided not to pursue that as a line of activity, which is one of the things that I intend to help you figure out, because you don't want to go down a path and because you're committed, you have to finish, and then you come back and have to wipe out the backlog or lost opportunities. So that hindsight is going to be something that I would like to, Minnie and I would like to have a discussion face to face. You can listen and we'll discuss the issues. And hopefully we'll get to X and do a live streaming sometime so that we can interact in real time as you bring your questions. And the idea is to be able to enable at scale children to start planning ahead, and parents to plan ahead and not waste money, because it's there. Like a mother would sell her jewels in order to fund something, but the parents don't know what they are funding, because you may be the first in your entire village who's trying to attempt something. So you are a minority, you are an outlier. But in our universe, you are in the center of the curve. You're normal. So we know, we've seen that before, we've seen that use case before, we've solved that use case before. And therefore, we'd like to give you those perspectives and your parents those perspectives, so they pull you back from dead-end or non-starter careers and focus you on a more sensible approach. Because I'm trying to do it at scale, I don't think we'll be able to do one-on-one consulting, but depends. I'm a platform thinker, so I used to create products. So I'm an innovator. I have 5 patents, and I used to make software, ERP systems from scratch. So my first ERP system was for a police department. So it's now the market leader in the United States. It's called Enforcers, and it runs 700 police departments. And then I and my team in Chennai made multiple ERPs for multiple verticals. And the last one was for craft beer manufacture, which became the market leader in America again. This time, some NASDAQ company came and made me an offer. I took it, and since 2015, at the age of 55, I was able to retire. So retirement doesn't mean I do nothing. It means I don't have any need to get up in the morning and dial for dollars, as they say, or get up and go somewhere. But I just do things that I think need done. And so one of those was that in 2022, as the country was emerging from COVID, I realized that children who had gone to, let's say, 5th grade had suddenly been promoted to 8th grade. So a 6th foundation that's supposed to be built, missing. 7th foundation that's supposed to be built, missing. So then I went into a local school which served the underprivileged and got involved, did a lot of structural work such as introducing technology into the classes. But the most important thing that I did was we ran a summer camp where I helped them recover the gap that they felt in math by conducting a 2-month summer program that focused on math, science, and spoken English, these 3 things. And so those people were able to, that vacuum that many children felt, especially more so the underprivileged who did not have the technology to be able to participate in remote learning or the money to pay for private tuitions. Those that category I felt deserved a lot more work. So I spent 3 years working with this category of people, and I was very happy with the quality of value that I delivered, and that's the kind of stuff that I want to do. So this is a continuation of that belief that it's time to pay it forward, and I would therefore like to start this podcast called School to College, focused on Indian children that are trying to get into US universities. The concepts that I teach will help you succeed even in Indian universities, there's no doubt about it, or other universities in the world. But US universities have a peculiar way of identifying suitable candidates. I know because I am a certified interviewer on behalf of MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So that does not happen with any other country. I'm happy to share those findings with you, not knowing who of you will be one of the people who I might wind up interviewing if you apply to MIT. But that is a voluntary job. This is a voluntary job. Overall, the idea is to be able to help lift you to where you belong and identify where you've been artificially lifted by bubbles beneath you by people who are trying to skin your parents who have a different agenda. Because I have no agenda. I don't want you to subscribe to this or pay this, nothing. So as a matter of fact, should the time come, I will be able to help you find scholarships. I don't want to promise you scholarship from myself, because I can do only a limited few. But if I'm talking to an entire country, there may be hundreds and even thousands of you. And I have a structural approach to solving everything. And even that we will solve, because I believe that many people who have money to give are looking for suitable candidates, and I hope they will use this platform, by which time I will have identified many of you, because I'll have worked with you, your parents, and help you match you up with suitable funding sources, so that it's all a platform approach. A platform approach means I am neither the producer nor the consumer. I build the platform, and the producers come and the customers come, like a marketplace. So that platform approach is what I believe I should be able to bring to even this space. And we're going to innovate our way into finding elegant solutions. But the fundamental goal is to help you succeed. Now, in the 12th grade, it's too late. You've already given your SATs, so you got your scores, you're locked. You've written your essays, and you may go to ChatGPT, as everybody else will, and say, hey, compose me an essay, make me look very smart. But you could realize that the other people on the other side are going to use ChatGPT to identify those essays that have been written by artificial intelligence. They're going to use AI to catch AI. So please don't think that you are the only one who can think about this idea. The fact that everyone is going to be thinking about this idea means that nobody can. So please do not believe that an insincere essay that you make ChatGPT, say ChatGPT, make me a prompt. Let me go look very smart for an essay. Arey Baba, what are you doing? You're wasting your father's money for that application. It will get filtered out by the machines before a human reads it. So it's not to make you write an essay differently. It's to make you describe a story that has substance, that makes you a valuable player. In any class setting, in any organization, because people are looking for you, not because they want to give you money and say go home. They're looking for you so that they pay you some money and you come back and help them produce 3x, 5x, that much, because that is the value that you add to them. So they want to see how much value you have added to others in your life thus far. And saying that, oh, my father has a factory and I go and sit in the factory and I do the accounts. Hey, your father is the brilliant guy, okay? Not you. What did you do? Okay, I, as an interviewer at MIT, am obliged to ask this question. So, catching you in the 12th grade is a little late. But I am happy to give you an opinion of how to prepare, what to do, how to make choices, etc. Then we dial back to the 11th class, and I think 11th is a beautiful year because you don't have the pressure of the 12th board. You've just gotten over the 10th board pressure cooker. So 11th is a good year, and it's a fabulous year to design an approach and then actually execute on that approach. And that is worthy of much discussion, much planning. I will take specific use cases of those who reply in the chat and actually solve through a podcast so that others can benefit from what those others have, questions that others have, because those questions may not have crossed your mind. They may be irrelevant. If it's a girl who has some questions, I'm happy for many to weigh in with the perspectives on how to process that, how you should process it as a student, and how your parents should be able to process it. So that's one more. Then coming down to the 10th grade,